Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, folks. This is Critic Box, and I am your host, Ben Walsh. Now, you'll have to excuse the little shiner here. I recently joined Tyler Durden's Fight Club, and oh yeah, what was the first rule of Fight Club? You don't talk about Fight Club, so I guess I'm either dead or I'm out of the club. But either way, this week we have John Wick Chapter 4, and what better way to have a look at this movie and let you know if this movie is worth your time than to bring in two pretty well-known figures in the social media world. And to start us off, we have controversial personality. We're getting a little frisky this week, bringing him in. This is Ben Shapiro, and he's going to provide his take on John Wick Chapter 4. Let's see what he has to say.
This movie is 2 hours and 49 minutes long. 2 hours and 49 minutes long. Return of the King was 3 hours and 20 minutes long. The entire Wagnerian ring cycle is not nearly as long as this movie. That'd be one thing if the movie were just chock full of plot, if there's a lot happening, but there really isn't.
Okay, so right away, Mr. Shapiro is attacking the time, and honestly, personally, I have to say I hate when folks do this. It's not like it's a big surprise when the movie comes out. You get to see the runtime. There was no half-hour hidden scene at the end of the credits that you had to watch. You knew what you were getting into. So, I mean, I have PTSD from this. I remember going and seeing The Ring, the third Ring, Return of the King, with one of my buddies. And I mean, as we all know, it was super long. And my buddy actually got up and disturbed the whole audience because it was too long. And I never understood it. I don't think it holds a lot of bearing, but I mean, that's all opinion-wise. And then Mr. Shapiro says there's not a whole lot going on. Yikes! This is John Wick, ladies and gentlemen. If you're saying there's not a lot going on, I don't know. Might need to talk to the doctor about some Ritalin or Adderall, because this movie is unbelievably action-packed. So, anyways, let's see what else he has to say.
If John Wick gets thrown off a fifth-story building, and he is totally fine, and then another guy gets thrown off a fifth-story building and is dead, you need an explanation as to why this would be the case. He's wearing a bulletproof suit. Do you understand how useless a bulletproof suit is? Truly useless. Especially because later we find out that he does not have a bulletproof shirt. So I'd just like you to examine for a second the fact that here's how a suit works. The suit covers part of your chest and your arms. The deadliest place to be shot would be like right here in the part the suit does not cover. So if you were going to form some sort of actual garment that would protect you, why not a bulletproof shirt? You know, that actually protects your vital organs. John Wick doesn't have a magic body. John Wick isn't a superhero. John Wick isn't made of iron. So because there is no consistency in that matter, there are all sorts of logistical problems that arise along these lines. Because of all these logistical issues, it starts to become non-suspenseful because there are no stakes.
Okay, so now Mr. Shapiro is discussing the realism of the movie. And at the start of this video, he had said that 1 and 2 were great, 3 was meh, and 4 was bad. This is a bad review. But I honestly don't see any discrepancies in the 4 movies in terms of their level of realism. You're walking into John Wick 4, you've seen 1, 2, and 3 most likely. There is no difference really after seeing John Wick Chapter 4 between the other 3 in terms of, you know, John Wick's beatings and, you know, whether or not he should be dead. John Wick 4 is not about realism and the accuracy of, you know, fatal wounds or not. So that's kind of an irrelevant take, but I will say the bulletproof suits are something that has boggled my mind since they came out. I think they came out in John Wick Chapter 3, but they might have been in 2. But either way, those bullet suits are, I think that is the point where I draw the line. I'd be interested to know if there are actual bulletproof suits out there. And maybe Versace makes. I don't know, but that is true. I don't quite. The bulletproof suits, as cool as the concept is, just kind of didn't do it for me. I mean, the guys shooting bullets and they're just going like this with their Batman cape / suit. That was kind of a little bit gimmicky, but other than that, again, the realism part. It's John Wick, ladies and gentlemen. He's been around for a little bit now. We know what we're getting into. So, anyways, let's see what else he has to say.
Alrighty, folks. Again, I wish I had loved it. Out of 4 stars, I give John Wick 4 2 stars. Man, wish I could rate it differently, but I have to go with my heart.
Wow. Okay, so Ben Shapiro has given John Wick Chapter 4 essentially a 50% on his test, which is obviously a terrible score. His points were a little bit hard to understand. He had the runtime was a big consideration of his negative score. And then, of course, the realism of the movies. It's an action movie. If you are an action fan, which I think Ben Shapiro is, the realism is put to the side in a lot of cases. And then, I mean, yeah, it was a long movie, but it was just from start to finish was just action packed. So it's hard to see the negative side of Ben Shapiro's point here. But let's take it over to a positive review from, I think his name's Charlie. His channel is Penguin, but the big thing here is the moist meter. So let's see the moist meter score for John Wick Chapter 4. Let's check it out.
And everything from John Wick, the universe, and everything around it is just high quality. It just oozes beauty. And I am happy to say John Wick 4 is the best one in the entire franchise. This movie is unreal. It puts the fill in film, because I was filling my fucking pants watching this one.
Okay, so Mr. Penguin is absolutely amped up right now. He comes right out of the gate and says that Chapter 4 is the best installment of all 4 movies. And you know what? That is a rarity in cinema, where you see installment 1 come out, installment 2 comes out, and it starts to kind of get dry, and the idea gets, I'd say, overused, and you kind of, the quality goes down as the number of installments goes up. But what is crazy about John Wick, and it's true, I agree, it gets better. And it's not like they're changing the wheel on the scenes and the storyline. You're getting the same type of set pieces in each subsequent movies. You have the attack dogs back in Chapter 4. You have nightclub brawls. You have muscle car chase scenes. It's all pretty much the same thing. But in some magical cinematic way, the director is able to make those scenes better. And it's just pure precision and quality in terms of an action movie lens. So yeah, great points, great points. So let's see what else he has to say.
The choreography here is the best in all of cinema. John Wick has the best stunt team, the best choreographers when it comes to its action, and the best way of filming it.
Yep, so other than the brilliant cinematography, the choreography and the way in which these fight scenes are shot, I mean, they're executed better than, in my opinion, anything you've ever seen before in Hollywood. And for those of you who have not seen John Wick 4, honestly, I have a question for you. Can you name better action scenes? I'm not talking about the movie. I'm just taking a microscopic view. Can you name a better set of action scenes than what you see in the John Wick universe? I truly doubt you could. I mean, we talked about it before. You have the main competitors of John Wick would probably be Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible, Jason Bourne in the Bourne series, or James Bond. But I mean, if you look at each movie from start to finish, you have way more scenes in John Wick 4 in terms of action. The quality in the terms of, I mean, yeah, you have Ethan Hunt doing absolutely crazy things. And again, Tom Cruise is as they say, the last action Hollywood star there is, and he's amazing. But just in terms of the actual fight scenes and action scenes, I just think that John Wick packs more into it with more quality. You get a better bang for your buck with John Wick 4. And I think the reason for that is because in the Bourne movies, in the Mission Impossible movies, the action is built around the story. Whereas with John Wick movies, the story is built around the action. And that's why I think that these John Wick movies are an absolute delicacy for action movie lovers. So yeah, it's just the choreography, the cinematography, it's an absolute action masterpiece. So anyways, went on a bit of a tangent there, but let's see what else Penguin or Charlie has to say.
Plugging John Wick 4 into the moist meter, I'm so happy to give this a 95%. I think this is an absolute must-see movie. This is a movie that is just beyond exciting to watch. It is like non-stop, super fun, beautiful, excellent, over-the-top action with a really great cast of characters that all get amazing moments to shine and really pretty shots. There's some really nice shots in here as well that I'd like to point out. I love this movie. I think it is the best in the franchise.
Okay, so there you have it there. Moist Meter scores it at a 95, essentially a must-see. So very different opinions coming from Mr. Shapiro and Charlie. You saw the reviews. You make it for what it is. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to go see this movie. Even if you're not a big action fan, I don't think you people say, you know, it's almost 3 hours long. Oh, well, you know, watch out, you know, avoid it like the plague. But honestly, you don't feel it because the action scenes are just start to finish. I will say the movie was a bit slow to start, but it's very minimal. It's only because the previous 3 John Wicks, you get right into the action pretty much right at the start. Chad Stahelski, or Stahelski, I don't know how to say his name, but either way, this guy is just a magician behind the camera with his, you know, his whole crack team of cinematographers and choreographers. They have this, essentially the fight scenes, like I said before, are all pretty much the same kind of concept. You have midnight or nightclub fight brawls. You have attack dogs back. You have all these different motorized vehicles, chase scenes, and I mean, you had the horse. It's all the same, but somehow he makes it new. Overall, this movie was an absolute treat to watch. It was fun from start to finish. Keanu Reeves literally went through, I think, 12 weeks of just martial arts training alone for this specific movie. He obviously had martial arts training for each movie, but clearly he stepped up his game for Chapter 4. So, and it shows. It shows in the movie. He is beaten. He is battered. But the guy is just an absolute demon. It was a pleasant experience. It was bloody. It was beautiful. It was just a cinematic masterpiece, and I mean, arguably one of the greatest action movies out there. So, with all that being said, please let us know what you think about John Wick Chapter 4, and if you haven't seen it, tell us what you expect. But other than that, take care, be kind, and have a nice day.